With the game against Munich ending in Manshine City's favour in the last part, and Nagi's now continuing fire fueled not only by beating Isagi, but also becoming the protagonist of the world, we now have our next match of Manshine City versus FC Barcha. The kickoff of the game had Barcha take a quick charge up front with Barchada and Otoya's combined efforts, but Isagi and Reo worked fast to shut down Barchada's dribbling by deflecting the ball out of field, and now they're prepared to work together as the ball gets thrown back into play by a U20 Barcha FC player. Before we continue with part 4 of this what if scenario, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more Isagi Manshine what if parts in the future. All support for the latest installments and even earlier videos of the series will make these videos come sooner rather than later. The ball lands onto the pitch into the possession of Ruiz, who manages to deal with the U20 Manshine defenders and make a pass over to Otoya. But as Otoya is making a shot onto the goal, Reo was there once again to intercept and take the ball for himself. The formation for Manshine is a 4-2-4, which is highly effective for attacking plays, promoting that speed and rush principle their club promotes. Reo was allocated as the heart of this team, being able to bolster numbers on defense in a pinch and provide more options on advancing, and he very much has the stamina to withhold this level of versatility, especially now with Isagi keeping things much more collected by being within Reo's reach for exchanges. Agi commends the pair's teamwork from afar, but it won't be so easy to run through Barcha players without a proper strategy. Lucky for Reo and Isagi, they have just the thing. Both of them activate Metavision in sync to one another. Reo, from his time training between last match and this current match, learned the fundamentals of how Metavision works and is obtained, and this is due to Isagi actually working with Reo following Agi's advice. Agi presented an answer in the form of training. To better understand and improve your vision of the field, Isagi must find someone fitting to him who feels less like a protagonist to commence mutual benefit. If Isagi can't learn off any other player about Metavision, as he's not fully aware of the possibility of other pro players knowing it in the NAL, he must find a path forward by experimenting with someone who is like-minded to him, and Reo fits this better than anyone else on Manshine City, not only because we have actively seen him obtain and use Metavision in the original series, but also because Reo may possess the weapon of a genius but thinks as a talented learner. So far, neither Reo or Isagi are fully aware of the concept of geniuses and talented learners, so for now they must find their own path forward by using each other's new discoveries along the way. Returning back to the match, Reo makes a pass over to Isagi, who quickly passes back. An effortless exchange in which ramps up in accuracy and possibilities. Both these players have creative desires to use each other to their max capabilities, but they both take charge in coming up with ideas themselves when they have the ball. Isagi manages to trap and feint past a defender, Reo manages to flick the ball over another defender. What we are seeing is a chemical reaction between Reo and Isagi, which I shall bestow the name synergized architecture, as if their plays are amplified by each other's combined freedom and creatively based ideas. Not even Barchada or Otoya could catch up to what their opponents are dishing out. So when it came time for the pair to position themselves in front of the goal, all that was left to do was for another 1-2 pass exchange to commence for Isagi to score, which of course is exactly why Isagi expects his last pass. However, now being faced in front of the goal himself, Reo didn't want to pursue that route anymore, as he uses the remaining life from Isagi's last exchange to set himself up for a volley, mimicking Otoya's shooting weapon he used earlier, which successfully got Reo the goal in this instance. To cover a possible nitpick that doesn't actually exist, we saw that a goal successful usage of a shooting weapon is not required for Reo to be able to copy it. This is the case as we saw Yukumiya's gyro shot in the third selection not actually make the goal, even if the intent was to pass to Nagi. Reo sticks out his tongue and smiles wide in celebration, and Isagi is surprised, but he can't help but smile too. It was an impressive goal, even if made off the back of his efforts expecting to score himself. Nagi looked as if the fire was burning more ferociously in response to his best friend now taking his own path to evolve. He's glad that Reo doesn't feel any need to rely on him anymore, but he doesn't wish to let Reo hog all the glory for long. The match restarts now with the score at 1-0 for Manshine City. Barchada, upon being given the starting pass, announces it is his time to shine. He's a fully capable player in his own right, but he knows how intimidating of a team Manshine City is, so he also needed to innovate and subjugate them in return. He passes to Otoya, who upon being run down by Chigiri needs to make a pass back. and then Barcha knuckles down on his patient approach. He waited for the instances where Manshine City players approached first, but he knew for Ryo and Isagi he may have to play it a little bit differently. And when speaking of the devils, they appear. Isagi looked to try that same strategy he used with Ryo on Barcha at the start of the match again, but Barcha saw a very slight opening. Effortlessly, Barcha lifted the ball and catches it in between his thigh and calf muscle, allowing it to release and rotate around Isagi, and just as Ryo approached after Barcha did that maneuver, Barcha does a quick no-look pass to Lala to his left, who sets Barcha up to run ahead with the ball now past both Ryo and Isagi to their utter shock. Barcha now has a clear path to the goal, but Nagi now steps in front of the monster. A battle now ensues where the two are desperately trying to pick off the ball from each other, with Barcha trying to set himself up and Nagi trying to trap the ball out of Barcha's range. This occurrence currently playing out is similar to the one-on-one that Noah and Lavinio had, not in terms of skill, but in terms of being an uninterruptible one-on-one situation, which due to misunderstanding the situation on Chigiri's end, he tried to interject and Barcha took advantage of it, using Chigiri as a wall when slipping past Nagi, which led to a B-shot goal, making the score 1-1. It seems like with Barcha's quick retort, Barcha FC was harder to overcome than initially thought. Isagi needed a new plan because whilst his and Ryo's push did work, who's to say it'll work again? He needs someone to be implemented into his play. Isagi, when he snaps back into the game, his eyes land and fixate on Aomori's Messi, Nishioka. Isagi remembered when Kira first recognized him at the very start of the BLUELOCK project. He has not been seen actively playing for Isagi to see, and this match he has barely gotten the chance with the ball, but considering how high the praise was from Kira, maybe, just maybe, he could be a useful component. So upon Isagi being passed the ball by Agi at the next restart, Isagi turned his attention onto the left side. Ryo attempted to follow behind Isagi but was now being marked down by two Barcha FC players. Isagi was a capable dribbler in this scenario, thanks to his upgraded physicality, but he didn't have the technique or even the creativity of dribbling to get past the other players, so he instead hedged all of his bets on a possible new ally, passing back to Nishioka. Nishioka was slightly surprised, but he didn't take too long to realise he cannot waste an opportunity like this. Since we don't exactly know of Nishioka's weapons, we have to be quite certain on the state of relatability. Being referred to as the Messi of Aomori is a statement I will take quite literally for the sake of making this player have some sort of arsenal. Lionel Messi's dribbling style is characterised by exceptionally close ball control, explosive changes in pace, and clever body feints. He utilises a low centre of gravity because he's a short ass, and a quick deceptive touch to navigate through tight spaces, often leaving defenders behind with his agility and sudden directional changes. So with that in mind, Nishioka with this more surprising dribbling style is what's needed to get past defenders whose experience dealing with average dribblers is above typical. Nishioka proceeds to showcase his dribbling style, similar to Messi's, but the process of it was tempo slower naturally due to the lesser development and experience, but nonetheless it was working. Nishioka made passes to Isagi when he called for it because he needed to use less risky opportunities to catch his opponents off guard. Unfortunately for Nishioka, however, Barcha was in pursuit and would not fall as easily to Nishioka's explosive footwork. Due to this, Nishioka was caught off guard and the ball was stolen from his clutches. Ryo, however, who was still following behind the newly aligned pair, was ready to get the ball back. Barcha attempted to do a rainbow flick, but Ryo used his copy of Oliver Aiku, which instantly changed the possession of the ball over to Agi, who was falling back slightly. Isagi, upon seeing this end result, instantly rushed into the best spot where he can score his goal, but whilst making his way over to this spot, his scent for a goal suddenly disappeared when Nagi got in between the pass route. Agi smirks at this little cheeky action Nagi decided to take, but ultimately planned not to play into his student's hands completely. So he offers an opportunity, doing a lob pass which should be high enough to go over Nagi's head if he didn't push his jump limit further than what he's currently capable of. So when Isagi was ready to volley the ball hoping Nagi would fail, Nagi, who is now in flow state from this feasible challenge, actually cut off the ball mid-air as Agi intended him to do, doing a header takedown into a volley of his own, all while still mid-air, scoring the second goal for Manshine City, making the score 2-1. Isagi grits his teeth teeth, his face contorted in frustration. First Ryo and now Nagi poaching at clear opportunities he seeks to make for himself. Maybe his ideal of controlling Manshine wasn't realistic, or at least in the way that he thought. Everyone from Isagi's actions were either inspired or gained the ability to evolve, and if he can expect someone like Nishioka to be his most reliable ally and everyone else to be a rival, he instead didn't need to control the team with Manshine letting him be the star. No. He needed to devour everyone in his path, to forcefully implement himself as both the antagonist of the entire team and, most importantly, the player who will lead Manshine to certain victory against the will of his teammates. Just as Isagi was deep in thought, the masters throw off their jacket to come onto the pitch for the star exchange, with Lavinho implementing himself as the centre forward for FC Barcha, and Chris Prince taking a role near the back as he will focus on helping his students with their ideals. And speaking of ideals, Prince approaches Isagi with a statement to challenge his thought process. Yoichi, wasn't your ideal to make the Manshine City team your own? You don't seem to have the control you desire, so I ask, what is next for you in the chase of your ideal? Shut up for a second, Master. I'm on a roll right now. And that is where we shall end part 4 of What If Isagi Chose Manshine City. I hope you all like the directions and ideas I've implemented into this story to make it have a different flavour compared to the original story. Once again, if you want to see part 5 of this series, you are required to hit that like and subscribe button, share this with everyone you know, and sell your soul to the What If algorithm. Thank you all so much for watching this What If part, and until next time, peace.